Right. Oh, sorry. Starting right away with old people noises. Oh no! What a drama! Hold on. Cat drama. Cat drama. Alright. These. Oh, wait. Hold on. So, see, working, and the window is frozen. There you go. Alright. Awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome, Kelly. Hi. Hi, Jill. Hi, Emotional Pumpkin. Hello, guys. Oh, wait, hold on. Very chaotic cat having the zoomies. Not a good combo. Hello, guys. I hope you can hear and see. I think seeing is fine. Hearing, you'll have to tell me. Hi, Curious. Hello. Hello, hello. I'm putting on gloves because I'm gonna play in water. And you know what would be wise to do would be to put a bit of moisturizer under the glove. Because let me tell you, my fingers are so broken up. It's so bad. Like I have, sorry, I'm just gonna describe it, not gonna show, but I have cracks. Sorry, hold on. Looking for my little container of moisturizer. I have cracks in my thumbs that just, you know, cannot heal properly. Because every time I do anything, it just like reopen. It's the thumbs. It's like a very useful digit. Digit? Anyway. It's our defining digit, let's just say. So it's very difficult. Like the right hand one is a bit better, but the left hand one is being very difficult. So it's super duper Velcro hand season. And I do all the things. I sleep with gloves and moisturizer on, and I try to put moisturizer on when I'm not handling watercolor paper. And I found a moisturizer that is, you know, decent. But yeah. Able to stay long today, but like for... Oh, we're happy to have you, Curious. My hands were always sensitive to the cold, but the older I get, the worse it gets, basically. There was a time when it wouldn't crack at the fingertips, but now... Alright, so in today's video, I'm gonna be looking at this palette. Oh, I am beyond excited for this one because this is one of my holy grail palettes. And I think that like probably two of my holy grail palettes are this palette, but one the tube version and one the pan version. But it's the Holbein Pro Compo palette. And when I got back into watercolors nearly 10 years ago, this model was on its way out. So it was really hard to find. And I think I only saw it on like Amazon India, and then it just disappeared. And then this one popped up on eBay, and I was like, "What?" Ah, I panicked, but I was able to win the auction and get the palette, and now it's here. It arrived this morning, and I'm beside myself. So as you can see, it's a used palette. I fully don't expect a new one. I'm gonna be washing this, just not here, not now, because of limited space. But I'm gonna be washing that, and thumbs, but the back of the right hand. Yeah, I have it here too, the back of the hand, and now it's gotten to the side of the right hand, which is my main hand. So the older I get, the worse it gets. Yeah, basically. I have tried petroleum, not just pure Vaseline, but a Vaseline based cream that is made from Vaseline, the company, and it worked okay, but the texture was a bit ick. So that's how it looks. I hope you guys can see. And push this up. So it is a bit old, and I think suspect, but the way Amazon works now, with the way they have the hub, their pesky hub, it's that the seller all sell their stuff to another person or a hub or a center. I don't know what it is exactly. Where, don't ask me why, but apparently they just open up the parcels, look inside, then very badly seal up the parcels again and set them on their way. Which, if you think that's a stupid system, I fully agree with you. I think it's really dumb. But I think that the way they handled the pallet, somewhere along the way they broke the hinge here. Like the plastic of the hinge is stuck inside of the little thing here. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm pretty sure if anything were to happen, I would MacGyver a way to make it work. So I'm just happy I was finally able to get a version of this palette. Most of the original stuff seems to be there, I think. Mainly the water jug here. Should I take a sniff? Okay, it doesn't smell much of anything. So, water jug is a little sea sponge that I'm gonna put with the bag in terms of washing. This stuff that I'll wash later. I have a this is removable. Oh, so excited. It has all of the OG paints, I believe. And then we have an extra container here. Ouais, Pico, bah ouais. Ouais. Ah ouais. Ah, si tu le dis. I'll have to try to find some photos of this palette. I don't think there was an extra like this here, and I'll have to find photos. Oh, I think this one goes here. Ah. I don't want to force it, but you get the idea, right? A couple of high moisture lotions that are on the greasy side, but the moisture lasts longer. Trouble is that I wash my hands more often using watercolor, so yeah, I did too. Maybe a thin, yeah, that's an option, but the thing is that I doubt you guys will be able to see, but it's like the gray part here that you see at the bottom had the protruding piece of plastic that you insert the other thing in, and it broke off. So if I put a dowel in there, there's nothing to connect it to the gray bottom. That makes sense? I'll definitely think about it. I'll try to find something. But yeah, at the moment, I'm just gonna try to go with it as is. And once it's cleaned up and I have a better view of what's happening here, I might be able to find a solution. So yeah, that's basically the layout of this palette. Here you have spots for pencils or brushes. You have a hole for brushes here. You have another rest here. Mixing area. This is the model with tubes, so you get an insert with tube. There is a model with pans too, so I think it must have a similar insert, but with areas for pans in there. Depending on how I can remove the plastic bit that's in the, I might be able to super glue that. I don't know, but like I said, this is not necessarily a priority for me right now. I want to focus on getting it clean because it looks like there's been like a neon pink explosion in there, and I have no idea where the neon pink comes from because there is a an opera tube in here, but it's somewhat clean. Oh, sorry, that's my fault. And then you have this tube here that has a lot of opera on it, so perhaps it just transferred. That's supposed to be burnt sienna. So what I was thinking to do, like at the start, is wash all the like the moving pieces. If I had a bigger bucket, I would soak this. I do not have a bigger bucket, so I mean I have one, but not one that I can film with. At the bottom you have at the bottom? Oh, that's the top actually. Holbein. There's the little logo. It says Holbein Art Materials Inc. I saw that the box is made in China. I have the thumb ring at the bottom. So it's really meant to be sort of a travel palette that you hold up and paint with. I don't know if it's visible, but yeah, the little plastic bit fell off the hinge. And the hinge is made in a way where it has a like I think if you put it the right angle, I might be. Oh yeah, that's it. And it's well designed, so even more a bummer that it broke off during transit. I'm fighting with everything. There you go. So can you guys see the little plastic bit broke off? Oh, it was manufactured in China. It says made in China in it. Here, China. It has a weird wheel with numbers on it and a recyclable logo on it. And it's quite dirty. I've heard Holbein paints keep exceptionally well in the tube, even more than Holbein. Yep, absolutely. I agree. Why are there not things like this? Cool. I don't know why they stopped making this travel set. I think it is really cool, and you have a similar one from Winsor Newton, but it's not that good. Oh, when do you think? Sorry, I saw where. So if the last available for sale, like the very last bit of the stock was there about 10 years ago. So I'm guessing it was made sometime before that, and I don't know until when, but I'm sorry, I cannot say. It's very difficult to find archival stuff for paint sets. Like, I was trying to find images of the sterling silver, or the silver one that Minke released about in 2017, so that's 8 years ago. And for the life of me, I cannot find a single photo of that stupid set. And I don't know why. I mean, okay, fine, you can buy it anymore, but I feel like there should still be some photos, right? The tubes, well, as you can see, it's the it's not the older of the designs for the label, and it still has the old logo on it, but that basically means that it could be anything from what, a couple of years to 20, 30.
Mais Chéro, qu'est-ce qui se passe?
I'm getting yelled at.
Répète.
So my idea was to basically dunk all the tubes in water and try to clean the paint off once it has softened a bit. Some tubes are still quite soft, like this burnt sienna is still quite soft. This one, the first one I put in was Hooker's Green. This one is burnt umber, still soft. Definitely sounds like a project someone should take on, compiling a... Oh man. You can find it sometime for really specific makers like Winsor Newton, but it's kind of difficult because the source material is really not easy to find. This is Cobalt Blue Hue. There are archival sites that might have some older like newspapers where you can find ads for these, but then again, even that it's not. So Cobalt Blue Hue, Ultramarine Deep, Opera, but not completely. Permanent Alizarin Crimson. It doesn't even list the pigment on it. That's funky. You will not be able to see, but there's pigment, comma, and just a line. That's unusual. I recently reorganized all of my paints in by pigment. So I've taken a look at a lot of paints, and yeah, we might find some interesting pigments. The way it is labeled, the pigment info is different than the other tubes. My OCD is itching to get a tube squeezer to... know what you mean. Vermilion hue, yellow ochre, and permanent yellow light. The bottom tray, they're really nice, sturdy plastic. It's kept quite well. It's the way around. This one here. So everything is having a jolly old bath at the moment. I'm gonna start with it's not very exciting, but it's been soaking for a bit at least. I have this big box of all sorts of toothpicks, cotton swabs, handful. So regular cotton swabs. I have those nail polish ones too, the smaller ones, and then this thing on a dunk but toothpicks. I organized my tube paints by brand, but it's probably pretty inefficient. No, that's what I did previously. And I think it's more efficient in a way. But what I'm finding out is that sometimes I'm looking for a specific pigment and I sort of don't have any idea where to start to find it. And sometimes I buy tubes or I buy paint and then I realize that I already have that pigment from three other brands, you know. So I wanted to see, like, if I organized things in pigment, perhaps it's going to give me a better reference point. And I also have like a section for all the mixed colors, like mixed greens, mixed all of that. But still, that's only for the tube. I don't have any pans in there really. And I don't really have the space to set it out properly. So we'll see. Perhaps I will not be keeping this system for very long. But yeah, I was a bit annoyed at not necessarily knowing what pigments I have and what pigments I don't. I'd love to hear how that works. Yeah, for sure. Like, sorting out the paints in that way made me realize that I only have one tube of one of my favorite colors. I know I have a few other, but I can't really sort them out with it yet. But you know, it's just it was completely lost on me that I had just the one tube of that pigment. So I think it can be somewhat useful, but I can't say how useful exactly. I have my swatch cards in a binder by pigments. Yeah, that's good. Like, there are some paints, like the Roman Schmal paints. I am not sure if I kind of want to separate it up into pigments because it's mostly just bands, and like, I know where all of it is. So if I look at my swatch charts and I see that I have that paint, well, I know where to find it because it is all the pans are in the same spot, you know. And if I were to break up the pans and have them by pigment, I'm not entirely sure how I would set it up. Like, I wouldn't want to put the pans just in a zip bag. And then, like, how to store it, which is still a problem because for now everything is in the box, which is not ideal, but I've labeled all of the bags with the pigments that's in it. There's that, but I mean, work in progress. Ideally, in my head, the dream scenario would be to have a bit more living space so that I can dedicate a corner or a small room to essentially just storage. A bunch of shelves in there, have things organized, and so that I know that if I'm looking for something, I can just go in there and I'll probably be able to find it. Whereas right now, everything is just, you know, all over the place. I have no strategy for swatches beyond having cards in every palette. I've been thinking of making a swatch, but it feels really overwhelming. Good project to take. Yep. The issue, like, I've tried doing lists of all the colors that I have or whatnot, but the thing is I find it difficult to keep it up to date. So I will not manage to, you know, update it. Let's say I use up a color or I add a color, it lags really, really quickly. And that's why most of my attempts at making a database for myself have not been very conclusive. I wonder how this palette ended up being this messy. It's very messy. My fingers. Whenever I get a vintage palette, I'm always curious to know how it was used before. I'll probably never know, but still, I mean, you wonder, right? Like the previous owner of this palette, what did they paint with it? Did they like it? Why did it end up like on sale? What's the story of this palette? I could actually ask the seller, right? I think I might do that. That's gonna be interesting if they feel like comfortable to share, of course. So now I'm looking, trying to find a, hold on, have a messy brush that I can use to clean up a bit. No problem. I have spreadsheets being inventory of the colors I have, which is hard to keep update, but does let me know when we contain. The advantage of a database like that is that you can search for things. So you can go like find like the pigment number, and then you can see if you have any paint that pigment number. So that's a good thing for them, but they're a bit difficult to do to keep up to date and sort of keep on top of things. I missed the start where you probably said this, but is this a used? It's a used palette, definitely. It is very stained. I don't know if you saw the when I've showed the inside of the thing, and the tubes are definitely used. Some of them have like a lot less paint than a new tube. I don't want to try removing the caps too hard right now because of the fact that the paper is still wet and I don't want to rip it off. I would probably let these completely dry before I would open them. Wonder. It looked awfully pretty. It would have had to be like a demonstrator to be this, like you say, loved. It's the older caps, like the rounder, smaller caps. I really like these. There's Holbein color on it. some color in there that doesn't seem to want to go away. So sometimes I wonder, like, when I get a used palette, did the person try it like this palette with acrylic too? Or is it just that the colors are quite old, so they're quite stubborn? Like this green on this label is very, very stubborn. Definitely looks like it had a Booker's green accident in there, but also I don't know where the person put the paint when they would paint with it. Perhaps in the mixing lab, but there's no like obvious area to put the paints. So I wonder. Upper one, it is quite stiff, but still a bit soft. It's mostly that the tube is like squished weirdly. This person didn't like to paint with burnt umber. It looks like the tube is almost completely full. Go back. My kitten has left. I don't think I have a moderator. YouTube has been so extra with its aggregating of what people can and cannot say. Silly. 9-year-old ball ripping. I know. Sometimes I will say like not a fart, and it's just the paper towel. But yeah, I'm aware. And I can't believe YouTube will cover up flatulence. Like, come on. It's the actual like dictionary word for farts. So what do you want? People cannot talk about farts on YouTube? Like, sorry to say, but we all fart. It is a biological function, so I mean this one is also still quite soft. It's exciting. I love Holbein. Always love. At first I didn't really know it was a Japanese brand. And I got a tube of I got quite a few tubes actually from my aunt when she passed. She was an amateur watercolorist, so she had a bunch of various paints of all kinds, and I kind of inherited the lot, even if I did not touch it for a really long time. Too busy with school and stuff like that, and like the new cool thing was digital art, not traditional. Trying to see if I can clean up the. It worked really well for the other two, but for one, green is really stuck in. Yeah, what if this was? I know, and like the history channels are really struggling because they're just trying to talk about like historical stuff, and they get demonetized every single time. It's like, well, like there are a lot of historical events that are important to talk about, so censoring or like discouraging people from talking about it by making their videos on which they worked really hard um what's the word I'm looking for, like limited for ads or limited for audience. It's such a weird mindset. Like if you want to talk about any of the wars or any kind of more serious or um like complex historical event, it's just like a nightmare. Flagged, and you get limited and monetized, and it's like, well, I mean, these people are working super hard on videos. There's a lot of research. Agreed. Holbein paints really grow on me. They have some really gorgeous hues, but they're just so reliable and high quality. It is super unfair, isn't it? It's bonkers. And meanwhile, a lot of really unsavory thing is perfectly allowed on YouTube, but not like the historical stuff. And I agree, Holbein are really, really cool. They have, like, I was sorting out my paints, like I mentioned, and I had set up like a bunch of papers on the floor with all the various single pigments. And when I had a tube that was from like made with that pigment, I would put it in the appropriate spot for it. And yeah, of course, Holbein, a lot of their paints are not single pigment. But at the same time, the ones that are really nice, and the ones that are not are also really nice. And I know I still need to make a video on that. It's just been a bit, it's such a big thing in the watercolor world that I don't really know how to get started, but I want to make a video to sort of showcase that the number of pigment in a paint is not relevant. It's not because a paint is multi-pigment that it's gonna make for a quote-unquote muddy color, which is another word that really bothers me, because it doesn't mean anything. It just means brown. It's not a good descriptor of what people try to say when they use muddy. More often than not, they mean that they mixed the color that is not the color they wanted, or that the color is muted. Stuff like that. Muddy doesn't really mean. It has a sort of an emotional meaning, but it doesn't have a technical meaning. So it can be difficult to troubleshoot when someone says that something is muddy, and you're like, okay, but that sort of doesn't tell me what's wrong with the image. Just to read, and maybe you want to come around. Funnily enough, well, I mean, many of Holbein's earth colors, like burnt sienna, umber, yellow ochre, they use quote unquote the right pigment for it. One is burnt umber, it is PBR7. Their burnt sienna is also, I think, PBR7. Like, they don't, these itches. They didn't go the route of making it a mix or having some black component in there or whatnot. So they're usually really nice, and they behave a lot better than most other colors. Even their they have a terre verte kind of color, and it's not pure PG23, but the fact that theirs is a mix means that it's a color that's much easier to work with, because it re-wets beautifully. It has a decent tinting strength and color, and it's just a lot more fun to use. And if you really want the pure PG23, you can get that from so many other brands. Pigment from Holbein that I really enjoy is Scarlet Lake. Oh, it is beautiful. It is such a nice red. It is so nice. I love it. I love their vermilion hue a lot too. It's this perfect sort of reddish orange or orangey red. And it's warm and it's strong and it's such a nice color. I think she said it as the compliment for Daniel Smith fellow. Ooh, that's a pretty color combo. Love it. There's a thing I was looking at recently, and my initial impression was I was very unimpressed at first, but then I saw some swatches, and I gotta say, the swatches really sold me on most of the selections, but it's the Daniel Smith triad trio sets that they released. Now, I really hate all the marketing around it because, of course, to no one's surprise, I say they, like, it's a multi-people decision, but Daniel Smith in general went in a really Pokemon gotta catch 'em all kind of mindset. Collect all the trio sets, and there's not much to collect there because it's all paints that are already part of their range, so you might already have them. But I was I still have qualms about some of the color selections, but other of their color selections for the trios, I was like, what's the point? And then I saw the swatches and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I can see it now. I see what you mean. Their multi-pigment mixes are so nice. I mean, Verditor Blue, Vermilion Hue, Leaf Green, Indigo. Their Indigo is just out of here. Sap Green, Olive Green, also really like. They were amongst the first ones to really have a lilac and a lavender color in there. And then Daniel Smith. I mean, I don't mind that the company sort of released similar colors. What bothers me about Daniel Smith is that they're the first ones to complain that people steal their signature color, and then they go around and they steal other people's signature colors. So it's like, yeah, okay, sure, cool, unexpected. To ask something. A while ago, I saw an Australian YouTuber reviewing Charvin watercolors and was bummed you couldn't buy them in the US. But Aries is now carrying them, and when I looked into the colors, they have very few single pigment colors, which doesn't matter for all the reasons we discussed. But at the same time, it's really, really expensive, so I'm not sure what to think. Do they have any kind of very special custom mixes? In the sense that if you take another Australian brand, Art Spectrum, they have some really unique mixes within their range. Like their Australian leaf green, I think, or the, like, I don't remember the name, like Pilbara red or whatnot. I feel like if I was in a situation where I'm very curious about a range of paint, they're super expensive. Like, let's say Michael Harding. Michael Harding paints are becoming more and more available here, but they're still like so expensive. So if I was to try them, I would try to find either the color that speaks the most to me within the range, or something really unique that no one else has. That would be my personal approach to this. And then if I like those, I can see about getting the rest of the range. And if I'm not like over the moon, well, at least the colors I got from them are something unique. It's probably not the best benchmark kind of test, because I feel like for a benchmark test, you want to try always the same pigment. Like ultramarine blue would be a good benchmark. But aside from that, that's personally what I would, try. Yeah, I hope you will share swatches on the Discord. Would be really fun to see. The mixes didn't look particularly unusual based on the pigments. A lot of the mixes have PW4/6. Also some seemingly not at all light. What's the I have to look into it. What is PO73 is not a discontinued pigment. I know. Is that a recent development? How did I miss it? But yeah, is Charvin supposed to be like a really fancy brand, or is it just expensive because they have to import it from really far? The tube that had all of the neon pink encrusted around the threads. Let me dig deeper and misremember. I think there's supposed to be a fancy brand for oil paint. Do you guys have any kind of specific thoughts about brands that offer many different mediums? Oil paint, acrylics, watercolor. CR7 burnt sienna. I don't know how I feel about brands that do all mediums. Might not have any kind of specific feeling about it. But I don't know. I kind of, perhaps it's because I kind of get the vibe from like experiences and whatnot that when brands offer many different mediums, it kind of always feel a little bit like watercolor is an afterthought. They went the route of like, oh, we already have all of these pigments, so yeah, I guess we could make a watercolor. I don't know if it's justified, but that's the kind of vibe I get from some. Smith made lovely heavy. I was super. No, did they stop when they changed ownership and all of that? I know they made. I don't know if they still make it, but they had oil paints. I guess it depends on the maker. I think Michael Harding started out with paints and was a good brand, but currently it took years to make a watercolor. I've heard very mixed impressions about the Michael Harding watercolors. So I'm really not sure what to think about that, but they're so prohibitively expensive here that yeah, haven't she makes squash as well as yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's I feel like it's paint is relatively simple to make. Just the binder that changes. And for quite a few types of paint, the binder is really like simple in a way. Oil is just pigment and oil, basically. And watercolor is just like gum arabic. Acrylic I feel is a bit trickier because you cannot let the polymer binder dry out. But oil like doesn't really dry, and then watercolor is rewettable, so it feels a little bit easier to manage in that aspect. Paper. Okay, hold on. Are you guys ready? Otto and a watercolorist are not here, so I guess we can allow ourselves a couple of fart sounds without being without annoying anybody. We are sad to announce that the sale of our watercolor number 13 Pearl Orange has an unfortunately. Who's that from? Is that Harding watercolors are really vibrant and have some gorgeous convenience mixes, but they're quite where I live though. Schminke are super pricey and yeah, same. That's the thing. Like I've said this many times, and I will repeat myself again. But I think one of the most recurring questions that arttuber, quote unquote, like the YouTubers that focus on art supplies or whatnot get is like, oh, which brand should I get? And the real answer to that is get whatever is like, take the Venn diagram of your budget, good quality paint, and what is available to you, and anything that crosses those three sections, that's what you should get. For some people in Europe, it's going to be Schminke or Romanschmal or Stenelier if you're in France, perhaps. And for us, not for me, for you guys in the US, M. Graham, Da Vinci, perhaps Core from Golden are going to be easier to find because they're locally made. And that's fine. If someone in Europe is like, oh, I really want Core, but they're super expensive, it's like, well, perhaps there's something that will work for you that is like made closer to you that will not break the bank. Because ultimately, as long as you get one of the known pro companies, you're gonna get good paint. It's not really a worry, right? Two different mediums of Holbein and they're all been pretty good. Wish they weren't so expensive. Seriously. They do good stuff, and I really like their approach, like the recent watercolor pencils that match the watercolor line. Like that's clever. That's wise. Unlike a certain brass palette that I rambled about recently, it really looks like they thought about it before making it happen, you know? Did a few years ago, and the other types we offered. Oh, yeah. But that's not. First of all, that's from quite some time ago, because I've had it labeled on my Romanschmal short chart that it's discontinued uh, for a long time. And yeah, their PO73 was really, really unique. But as a general pigment, it's still available from many other places, just not that specific hue. It was quite unique, seriously. It's just that one. It's just that specific PO73 that he had at the beginning. I know that Otto, if you guys remember, Otto had uh, the whole initial release of Romanschmal colors, and she made multiple videos about that. And if you look through the videos, you might be able to spot the PO73 one, because I'm fairly sure she got it with her quote unquote starter set. But yeah, since then, they couldn't find more of that pigment, so. The regular PO73 that we're used to is still available for now, anyway. I'm in the US, but M. Graham is still pretty. Da Vinci hits the sweet spot for me for immense quality and proximity, which, yeah. Sorry for the panic. I need to. Oh, no worries. No worries. That's kind of what I expected, but I feel like it's always good to make sure, because you never really know. Like, I'm not particularly plugged in, so sometimes when a pigment is discontinued, it comes as a bit of a surprise. But I'm glad, because it is a fun color, that PO73. I really like PO71 personally, like the bit warmer, it's more transparent, but finished it. I have fully accepted that I have awful memory. And yeah, I use quite frequently the something to the essence of like, well, I could be wrong. This is kind of what I remember, but who knows? I haven't checked that information recently, so I might switched it out. Or I don't know about you guys, but one thing that really messes up with my memory is kind of dreams that I have now. Like sometimes they don't feel real in a way. They just say it really. But it's difficult at times to separate what happened in a dream and what happened in reality, even if the dream stuff sometimes is really obviously dream stuff. But the reaction I get to the dream stuff is the same kind of reaction I would get to real life stuff. So I think that's where I get confused. And yeah, and in the moment that I'm in the dream, it all feels really real. Only when I wake up and I start assessing stuff that I can figure out if something was indeed real or a dream. So yeah, I'm really happy that we have internet now. I'm trying to remove the paint, but I'm removing the label as well. It's only my goal. Because I would like to keep the OG labels and the info that's on. Clean this up somewhat carefully. I hear you, Pumpkin. Really value. Seriously, isn't that weird? My memories and dreams look the same, so I can tell. Oh man, high five, everyone. When I started sleeping as poorly as I do at the moment, ooh, I've had to think for a while. My hub, I said that my hair's. Oh my gosh, that's hardcore. And yeah, I can see. I guess it's not like he said like, "Oh, your hair is glittery," like something that you kind of have more of an insight that it's not something from reality, right? But yeah, I would be confused about that one too. Like, wait, did something happen? Why do I remember that? We now have enough people to form a. Wait, did that really happen, or was it a dream club? Seriously, I had a moment like that this morning where I went like I was like, oh, I really need to frog that bit of crochet that I found that was in a box somewhere. And then I was like, okay, where did I put it? And then I was like, wait, hold on, did I really find it? And I think it was a dream. I don't think it was a real thing. But it's such a nothing burger of a situation that it's definitely something that could happen for real. And that's why it gets so confusing and you're not sure what's what with all of that. But I do think it was a dream. Before these, I became a maniac, so my brain is all. I don't know what triggered it for me. It wasn't always like that, but it's been like that for so long now. Yeah, could be meds, could be age, could be hormones, could be the quality of sleep affecting it, could be any combo or all of the above or none of them. I rely heavily on my husband to know what is a real. So if this ever starts to go, we're both in trouble. Yep, yep. I have to do that too. Like ask Mr. E. I'm like, wait, did this happen? Or sometimes just when I get to the point of asking if something happened, that's when it sort of registers that it probably did not. But yeah, the worst ones were actually I haven't had those in a while, which I'm very grateful for, but it was a period of time right after my mom passed where I would have the recurring dream where I sort of find out that she faked it. She didn't die for real. And I would get excessively mad at her because it's not a very funny prank. If it's a prank, like I would just get mad because I was like, why would you do that? Like, we were sad, we were like annoyed or whatnot, but I would wake up really like angry. And then it would take me a while to remember what's what, like what's reality and what's not. Which probably sounds stupid, but within a dream, everything you feel within a dream is always so real because you're feeling it. It's only when you wake up and you sort of take the reason out to assess everything that's when things start looking silly. But in the moment of the dream, everything makes sense, you know. I'm starting to think there needs to be an aging and hormones tab on this card. Long stretch of time, years ago, the point that I'm thinking, oh, that's lovely. Nowadays, my brain tricks me when I wake up inside a dream soon after. Dude, that's so annoying. You wake up and like things are not better. Oh my gosh, that's a trip. Dream logic. I call it the DCU, the Dream Cinematic Universe, because I feel like it has its own logic. It has its own settings that are recurring. It has its own like elements that come back from time to time from one dream to the next. And it's just weird. It's like the moment you hop into the dream world, you actually drop into a different reality that within the parameters of itself works, but when you get out of there and you come back to this reality, nothing makes sense. Emotional hangover from dreams. Seriously, it is very, very hardcore at times. And it can be really exhausting because let's say you have one of those dreams where you experience a lot of emotions in there and not necessarily positive emotions. But when you wake up, you still have felt those emotions even if they were in the dream. They don't go away. You felt them. So they're with you still. And if it was something emotionally exhausting, well, you didn't really rest. You dealt with that in the dream and now you wake up and you're exhausted because of the dream. Like it doesn't go away when you wake up. It's still with you and you kind of have to actively work towards separating that stuff from the new stuff, like the real stuff. But the dream itself is real in the sense that it happened and what you felt during the dream, you felt it for real. You didn't like pretend to. Like reading, everyone's creative people dream different. I don't know if it's related to creativity, but it might be a thing that a lot of creative people are also neurospicy. And perhaps it's the neurospiciness that makes for the weird dreams. But yeah. And sometimes it's quote unquote silly stuff, like you ate too much before going to bed, or you ate something specific that did not agree with you, and then you have like the weird dreams, and then when you wake up you kind of have to deal with that. Like that's a pretty we've all experienced that at least once, more often than not during the holidays. But yeah, other times it's just like there's nothing specific that could put you in a state where it would trigger one of those dreams. But the recurring ones are the ones I hate the most because they're never the good ones. They're never the fun dreams. They're always like the really trippy ones that make you feel all sorts of things that come back, come back, and come back, and come back. And sometimes within the dream itself, I have an awareness that I've experienced this before. Like, this is not the first time I'm in this moment. And I still cannot do much about it, but it's just weird to wake up and be like, ugh. It's like, you know, when you watch an episode of a show that you've already watched. Like, it's that kind of weird feeling. But there's not much you can do about it on account of being fast asleep. A good point. I love that. Oh, the brain and the pepper. That's so cool. I like that. That's a very fun way to talk about neurospiciness. I love it. Okay, that's the last tube, guys. Whee! What next? Yeah, I think there are also strong physiological influence. Like, sorry if it's TMI, but yep. Oh my, that's a recurring one. So, okay. Before we get on this, is anybody currently in chat not feeling up to talking about just bathroom dreams? Not necessarily going into details of the bathroom action, but just the nature of bathroom dreams, because we're gonna need a bunch of extra people to hold all of our beers if we get into this topic. No, that's fine. It's just that, you know, the one time that like the thing, like the fart stuff that some people were not comfortable about, I wouldn't have thought about that. So I'm just trying to be a good host and not make anyone particularly uncomfortable. I'm okay with it. I don't mind it. You'll be like, I'm not grossed out about the TMI stuff, really. You know, but there are other stuff that I don't want to talk about. But that stuff doesn't really bother me. But what about you guys? My base education is kindergarten teacher, so oh my gosh, you have to be. Oh, you would be a miserable kindergarten teacher otherwise. Oh man, the stories. I was gonna wait to see if anybody is sort of not good with the topic, but medical science special, so it's gotta be pretty bad before I get freaked out. Yeah, the stuff that freaks me out is the kind of stuff that would probably freak everyone out. You know, the kind of stuff you cannot really talk on about on YouTube. But then again, I feel like if you are not necessarily freaked out by that stuff, you probably need extra help. For everything else, like, I'm mostly okay. The throwing up stuff is perhaps the stuff that gets me the most ick. But I've never been good with that. But otherwise, like the poop stuff. We all poop, it's fine. And I mostly work with under 3 years old. Yep. Okay, so I'll start rambling about toilet dreams. And if anyone is late and is sort of no, you can just hop in and just say it. It's fine. We can find other topics to talk about. But oh my freaking god, what's up with toilet dreams? Seriously. What the heck? What the heck? Why is it always the kind of worst possible scenario ever? The toilets are always like a mind-blowing level of disgusting. And I think it's in the sense that like perhaps your subconscious going like, well, you don't want to pee here, like you don't want to pee in your bed, but you want to find a toilet. So hopefully you'll wake up and realize that and go to the bathroom. So I wonder if that's why the toilet's always like various level of unusable. But it's the always the most absurd stuff. Like they're all like the cubbies, like the little toilet areas, are ridiculously too small for anyone to be able to use them. If you get in there and you try to turn around to use the toilet, you're gonna have to brush your legs on the porcelain bowl, which is 20 levels of gross. The floor nasty, the toilet's nasty, or sometimes it's just silly stuff. Like you realize when you sit on the toilet that the toilet is kind of low and the walls are kind of high, so everyone can see your bum. You know, that kind of stuff, and it's like, what the? Or like the opposite. The top of the toilet walls are really low, so people look on you as you pee, and you're like, yeah, can you not? You know. Feel free to what's the elephant? Our safe word. We have a safe word, so Jill, you can just yell that. I have one when I'm trying to go in peace, but someone walks in and I freeze. Yeah. Barefoot. Yep, barefoot too. That's the other one. Or like having pants that you know will like touch the floor when you try to use the bathroom. I really, in general, I really can't do my pants. Yeah, lumpy elephant. Thank you. I had a brain fart moment where I was like, I remember it's elephant something. I don't remember elephant what. Lately I have it a lot of, oh, I'm not wearing any pants streams since nobody else seems to be minding it with the stream. I have those too where I'm completely naked or topless. And like the dream logic of those moments is that, oh, no one is commenting on it, so it's just gonna be a weird fake impression. Or like no one noticed. Which when you wake up and you think about it, it's like, I'm sorry, what now? I would never, ever, ever go anywhere without clothes on. Like, come on, man. Ew. So it's just so weird that in the logic of the dream, I'm buck naked. Like, dude, I would never. I hate summer. I hate shorts. I hate tank tops. Give me layers. Give me like 27 sweaters all worn at once. That's fine. But I just don't know. And yeah, I agree that the toilet ones are probably like your, because often when I finally wake up, I'm like, oh, I have to use the bathroom. So it's definitely connected, but it's just, this is such a far-fetched way to get me to wake up and go to the bathroom. Brain, you could probably have a different system in place that would also work. Yes, in dreams my shirt is missing off and pants. Yeah, that's the weird thing. And you're like you're gonna feel exposed, but no one is commenting on it. So you're like, it's gonna be fine then, right? Dreams are so weird. There's the recurring one about trying to pack to catch a bus or a flight or something, and you just keep finding more things that you need to pack. And you're like, why did I bring so much stuff on this trip? What's wrong with me? I didn't need to bring. Why did I bring all my favorite children's book on this? What's the point? And there's just more and more and more stuff. And you're just like, why? And I have to catch this, and I have to leave the room, the hotel room by this time, and all this stuff. So I really have to wonder whether there is some kind of psychological factor. I am a total layperson, but these dreams would all fire hormone significant for this. I think that dream interpretation is overrated in the sense that I feel like dreams are usually quite transparent about what they're about, even if they don't present it as, you know, very black and white, like this is why you have this feeling. I feel like anyone who has the dream, if you stop to think about the dream and how you felt during the dream, you might be able to figure out why it happened or what it's about or what sparked it and all this stuff. So yeah, there's really something about the, it's a bit like a it's a bit like tarot or horoscopes, in the sense that I feel like if you really work at it, regardless of what your reading is, you can find a way to apply it to yourself. And I feel like dreams are a bit like that, but since you are trying to do some introspection, I think it's easier to figure out what the dream is about because you're the one experiencing it and you're the one trying to figure out. So if it's something embarrassing, you don't have to say it to someone else. You can just, you know, say it to yourself, but at least you know what it's about. Does that make sense? But yeah, like sometimes like I know that when I have the dream about packing, it's because I'm stressed out about the all the stuff I have here that I feel like I don't need, but I don't know how to get rid of in a way that I'm comfortable with. Like it can be knickknacks, it can be like souvenirs, stuff that I don't want necessarily to end up in the trash, but I don't know how to go about rehoming them. You know, that kind of stressor. I am too slow to pack. Oh my god. Need to catch train, flight, meet someone, leave work, leave school. Yeah. The person you're going with is critiquing your packing. I don't have that part. I think. Oh, sorry. I keep. This is a new setup, so I need to figure out the better way for the camera. But so I apologize for shaking the camera at times. I don't have the unpacking part, and I was talking with Otto, and I think Otto has similar dreams and also has the unpacking part. I don't have that part. What I end up having as a part is someone being disappointed that I'm not done yet and that I decided to bring so much stuff with me. And maybe it's all down to some kind of your body says wake up doofus or some kind of completely, yeah, absolutely. The too slow to pack is just my everyday walking life. Oh no, waking life. I was at least the last round. I think I was often unless I really had like something to do, somewhere to go, whatnot. I think I was often in the last to leave the classroom, but mostly because that way, like most of the people would be gone, so it would be, you know, more quiet, less stressful, a bit more chill, and sometimes you could have like a little exchange with your teacher. In my dreams, the disappointed one is always me because it seems that even if I start packing ahead, it seems to be too late. Man. Like, brain, I'm supposed to rest and recharge for the coming day. Why are you sabotaging me slash yourself this way? This is not good. uh, the being naked one, I think, is one of those that bothers me the most because, like I said, it's so unlike me. And even my own attitude within the dream is weird to me. Like to be so uh, unbothered with it in a way where, like, part of me is like, but you don't have a shirt on, like do something. And then, like, part of me is like, well, I don't have a shirt. I cannot like find one, and no one seems to notice. But I'm like, no one seems to notice. Keyword seems. Oh my gosh. So it's possibly amongst the more distressing ones because of all the conflict, like the inner conflict about it. It's probably related to like self-esteem issues and whatnot and blah 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 blah. But you know, it's just like, ugh, I kind of hate having that one because it just, there's nothing about it that feels good. Like the packing dream, at least, like it doesn't feel great when it happens, but when I wake up, I have more ways to cope with the leftovers, the feelings. Like, oh, I'm working on decluttering. It's gonna be fine. You have a plan. You just need to, take the time to enact it and all of that. Like, I can do something about it, but the being naked one is just weird. The only baby popping out dream I've had so far had the actual popping out part basically skipped and just panicking for not having packed them. Having to go to a nearby store with the newborn to buy some. Oh, I don't know if you're gonna be slowly getting more and more of these weird dreams. Perhaps other people who had pregnancies in the chat can share some insight about that, but I do hope for you that it's not gonna be too trippy. Why sabotage during sleep? Maybe our brains are waking life state for struggles with organization. Like that programming doesn't. Yeah, I mean that's basically the basic thing about it is that even though we would love them to, our brains, they never shut off really. And I think that even people who say they don't dream or whatever, I think they still do dream. It's just that they don't remember it because that's how our brains like deal with everything. Like dreaming is a really important part of the way the brain works. Yeah, I'm kind of envious of the people who say they don't remember. You don't know what you're not missing. Or basically you're not missing out on much. Oh yay, this great feeling of anxiety as I wake up. Love it. you know. And I mean some dreams just feel awful. We don't have to get into the details of those, but we've all had them. Like when you wake up and you just, like once the panic subsides a little bit, like the immense relief at realizing that something was just a dream and not reality. We've all dealt with that. I'm pretty sure we've all dealt with that. I'm gonna try to see if I can clean more of this with soap or whatnot eventually. I'm not too keen on using like alcohol because I don't know how this plastic reacts to it. But I'll see what I can do. Sometimes just a more like solid, like rubbing off with something just like a cotton tip like that. You can get most of the stain out just by being a bit more vigorous about it. See? And it's almost non-abrasive. I don't think it is. If it is, it's very minor. Put a little bit more elbow grease into it, and to be a cotton tip DJ. But yeah. Yeah, that one made me laugh out loud. Hospital wouldn't have those, or my husband wouldn't be able to go to the store. I wrap up the newborn and go myself. I mean, baking soda is gonna, it's an abrasive, so it's gonna mess up the surface. It's funny because I don't know about your dreams, Susie, but when similar stuff happens in dreams, it's kind of weird sometimes because you have this notion that someone could go for you, technically, if this was reality. And in the logic of the dream, it's not that the person is not there, doesn't exist, or whatnot, but it's like they're there, but you still have to go, like, by yourself. And often there's like no grudge with the other person. It's just the dream logic of the moment is that I have to go to the store. That's what needs to happen. I hope the noise is not too annoying. I'm not rubbing, but just paste with. Oh, maybe. I wonder if vinegar would work. I think even my Q-tip leaves a bit of a mark on the. I don't know. I'll try with some soap. See if it makes a difference. Sorry about that. Not a very fun noise. I would love to be able to pop this a little bit out, but it is resisting. I'll probably have to soak this soap, see if I can get this. I think it's stuck in there with paint. Yeah, toothpaste is also a bit abrasive. Eraser is not like a white vinyl eraser. It's not technically abrasive, but it will sort of do something a bit weird to the texture of the plastic. Alcohol, if it doesn't melt the plastic, is usually a great one. But yeah, I don't know if it would work with this plastic. It's sort of older. I'm not sure I want to risk it. I think I would prefer to live with the stains than to mess up the. Ooh. But not suggesting asking. Do you guys use those Mr. Clean Magic Eraser things for palettes? I don't. They're melamine. Yeah, melamine is the material and melanin is the skin thing. But yeah, they're melamine sponges, I think, and they're a bit abrasive. It's very fine abrasion. So when people say they clean their shoes with that stuff, what it doesn't really show. But on a palette that has a thin coating, that's why it loses its shine. It's because it removes the top layer, and if you do it a lot, you're gonna eventually mess up the palette. Yeah, melamine sponges are abrasive. I'm aware that I'm doing this as I'm cleaning up a palette, but I much prefer stains to a damaged palette of any kind. I really like, you sort of get used to the stains, and you can tell the color with practice. Like, it's not gonna mean anything that the palette is stained. And if you are really unsure about the mix, you can always keep a scrap of paper and test your color mix on the scrap of paper before painting with it. I feel like having a stained palette is just part of being a painter. And if like I can't bring myself to focusing so much on keeping my palette clean that it prevents me from painting, you know. Using those as light abrasion to new plastic. Water beading. Yeah, that's the thing though. A plastic palette, even if you remove like the very fine topmost layer of plastic, it's not gonna mess up the finish all that much because the whole thing is just plastic. More of the same, you know. So you're gonna get a surface that is slightly roughened up on a very small scale, like visible by eye. I don't know, but it's still less smooth than it was before, which is why the paint doesn't bead on it. But with metal palettes, that's why it's a bit more annoying. It's because this finish is not like the whole palette. You have the coatings, the enamel, then the metal, and all of that. So if you remove the protective enamel, the palette is going to be much more susceptible to rust. Or sometimes, you know, in the process of making it beadless, you end up making it so it stains more. Because now that the surface is rough, quote unquote, the paint, like it's more porous in a way than it was before, so the paint stays stuck in there more. And all for the sake of cleaning it, which is a bit silly. Or, I mean, not if you want not to bead, but I feel like palettes that bead is just a temporary issue. If you use the palette and you keep using it, the beading is going to stop eventually. Because the action of mixing paint on there with your brush, it still causes a very, very minimal amount of abrasion on the palette. And that's what progressively makes it so it doesn't bead anymore. Besides, you gotta put the mileage in. I feel like it's kind of cheating to pick out some sort of a abrasive to make sure the palette doesn't bead anymore. It's like, no, you gotta work at it. You gotta paint with it. You know you've reached a milestone when your palette stops beading from just using it, you know? Yeah, the stains show you're actually using it. Exactly. Someone shows me a completely clean palette. I find that suspicious. Because it's like, what are you doing with it? Are you even using it? This thing should be stained. Like, the stains are not an indicator of whether a palette is quote unquote clean or not. An indicator of if you use it or not. And I get it. Some people, like, they feel very nervous about using the quote unquote good stuff. But I'm consider myself fortunate that I didn't end up with that issue. So if you need someone to talk you into using the good stuff, I'm here. I'll help. So I gotta say, one thing that was never really an issue with art supplies, but one thing that kind of happened in my life that put a lot of perspective on other things is I've mentioned the passing of my mom. And it's just in this aspect of like stuff that is important, like stuff, like objects, like things that are important to you are possibly only important to you. And like the moment you're no longer using them, or they're no longer yours, quote unquote, they kind of stop being relevant and useful to anyone. And I feel like it's just sad to think that the stuff that I care about, if I were to disappear, most of it would end up in a bin, you know? And it puts this sort of weird perspective on things and keeping things and using up things. And I just, like, I realize it. Like, if stuff only has value while I'm the one having it, what about the stuff that I feel don't even has any value to me? Like, do I need it? Why do I have it? What's up with it? What should I do with it? And I know this is a weird kind of reasoning, but yeah, it's just this weird notion. And it also was brought on by, I used to follow this blog. It's from someone in my city who is a sort of dumpster diver in a way, but not for food or stuff like that. It's just for, he looks for stuff that people discarded that is still usable. And it can be all sorts of things, from like memorabilia to kitchen items to furniture to anything. And quite regularly, he will find very interesting things that ended up in the bin, not necessarily because of a mistake or whatever, but because the person who was tasked with cleaning up that apartment or that house, it was not their stuff. So for them, it didn't mean anything. It had no value. And I mean, sometimes it's just being careless. Like, I figured that when they throw out like gold jewelry, it's not because it has no value. It's just because they didn't look through stuff. But still, like this, there was one time, I remember it. The dude had found a box in which there was a gold bracelet. I think it was a war veteran thing. And there was a note with it that said, along the lines, I'm paraphrasing because it's been a while, but it was something about like, please get this to my niece, so and so. And the whole thing was in the trash. And it kind of put a weird perspective on things, that they're just things basically, and ultimately their importance or their meaning is completely made up. So yeah, that's been a good help into decluttering too. That's weird, right? Life. I've had a similar experience, and it has definitely colored my perspective when I find myself trying to save the good stuff for some unknown later point when it's for real. It's too damn short. Seriously. Like, again, my mom, she obviously passed somewhat prematurely, right? Because I am not that old, and she wasn't particularly ill. It was a bit of a surprise. And yeah, and it puts some sort of weird perspective on all the stuff she did while she was alive. Like, she kept saying that she wanted to get back into painting, and she kept postponing it and finding excuses not to do it. And I would ask her regularly, like, oh, did you get to do your painting? Like, you told me you wanted to get back into painting. Oh yeah, but I took a class and I didn't like it, so I didn't go. Okay. Then I would try to tell her that, like, you don't need anything specific to get back into art. You just need to sit down and do it. And it doesn't have to be anything specific. It just has to be about you, the medium, the paper, and try to have fun, you know. If it's blobs on a paper, that's fine. Who says blobs on a paper is not a good, you know, outlet? Then she would be like, "Oh yeah, but might try getting back into oils instead of watercolor. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then she got a really nice set of oil paints for her birthday and whatnot. And she never got to it. And I would ask her again, and she would be like, oh yeah, but like she would always find a reason not to get to it. And then she passed. And it's like, oh, well, I guess too late now, is it? And I don't necessarily mean that as a big morale thing or whatever. It's just like this, it's the reality of things. Like, we feel we can always postpone stuff because in our current reality, we don't have any inkling that there's going to be a point really where we won't be able to postpone stuff. But that's the reality of it. They say stuff like, oh, there's no time like the present, and it sounds like something to sell you coasters and frames and whatnot, but it's basically what it is, right? And yeah, I understand, like, oh, I have obligations, I cannot do it right now. It's like, okay, fine, but I mean, what's the soonest you can really do the thing? And if you actually do not want to do the thing all that much, you can be honest with yourself and accept that as well and move on with other stuff. That's also okay. You don't have any kind of obligations to yourself, like, except perhaps being honest with yourself. Like, I kept wondering if my mom was really willing to, like, did she really want to get back into it, or if she was just saying that because it somehow she felt like she had to say that for whatever reason. Like, you could have just like accepted that you want to not do that and move on, like use your energy for something else. I'm rambling. I've chased everyone away. Oh well. Not to be necessarily gloomy, but recent events have made me ponder whether in my family there's a weird quote unquote rule about half the deaths be really weird and the other half being really standard. Because in a recent death that was absolutely unexpected, and when I learned the details of it, I was like, what the hey? That's something. Hmm? I've not been chased. Oh, good. Just soaking in. Was getting bonus laugh. I'm rambling. I'm sorry. It's just that if I can sort of share this and it perhaps makes someone think, and so that they don't have to wait until one of their loved one passes before they realize this stuff. I feel like it's not necessarily a bad thing. Not that I was getting along really well with my mom, but still, a lot of stuff that she sort of is missing out on that I feel is a bit of a bummer. Like, if I'm not sad for me, I'm sad for my nieces that never met their grandma. You know? I'm not saying that it would have been the best thing ever, but now I'll never know what it's about because it is never going to happen. Just the weird perspective of it. I'm here, not chase, reflecting on. Yeah. All that to say, use up the good stuff. And it's not even about like the kind of live, laugh, love mindset of you're worth it. It's more like like I mean it spoke to you for a reason. And I feel you should listen to the little voice in you that was attracted to whatever you got. and to not listen to the little voice that says, well, you're not good enough. Like, well, no one is good enough for anything, basically. So that's not a very good argument, brain. I'm pretty sure you can take it and bin it. This tray is looking so much better already. Like, it's still not perfect, but without all the crusted up paint. Look at the back of it, how the back of it is super clean and nice. That's good plastic. Good plastic. It's all vulnerable. Oh, I don't know if it's courage, but really, like, I don't want to yap about this stuff, but I'm really not shy about sharing stuff about that and mental health, physical health to some extent. There are other stuff that I'm perhaps more I have more reservations about sharing, but seriously, this the stuff about life lessons and whatnot, I really have no qualms. Talking about school too is something that I'm absolutely not shy about. Talking, if you are interested in school for art, I mean, I think most of us are a bit old for school, possibly. But it's like there's no school that will necessarily make you into a good artist. You might learn technical stuff while in school, but ultimately what will make you or break you as an artist is just what you like to do, how much you like it, and how much time you're willing to dedicate to it. That's it. Like, you can have some excellent, amazing professional artists that work in the industry and do really well, and they never went to art school. And you can have people who went to art school for years and years and years, and they cannot get a job, save their ass. It's very satisfying. It's clean. Mine is the type of brain that really appreciates carpet cleaning videos. Do you also appreciate the videos where someone will take a busted up, rusted up, dinged old metal thing like a lamp from World War II and completely revamp it? Remove the dings in it, clean it up, sand it up, re-enamel it, redo the wiring, get a new bulb, and then they plug it in and it works. I kind of like these videos because you get a glimpse of how things get repaired, basically. It's a skill that is, not easy to be taught nowadays. You really hope that you will just bin the broken thing and get a new one. Yes! It is fascinating, right? So I'm an engineer, so I get excited by power tools. You know what part of the process gets me the most mesmerized? Is when they do the enamel bits. Like they put it in the weird little room and they spray the powder on the stuff and then they bake the thing, and there's a point in the baking process where the enamel gets activated and gets to its real color, and it's so satisfying to watch. Woodworking, art restoration, all that stuff is catnip for my brain. You know what I'm reminded of when I think about this kind of stuff? It's I think it's a meme, but it's a song that has lyrics at some point where the singer says, like, magnets, how do they work? And it's silly because it's like, bro, come on. But it just it's kind of living rent free in my brain. And whenever I get into a super MacGyver mode, it comes out of hiding and it goes like, magnets, how do they work? And I'm just like laughing to myself about it. Ah, the powder coating, isn't that like shoom? And you're like, oh, satisfaction. So nice to see. Oh man, mudlarking. When I found out that mudlarking is actually a thing, I had so many dreams about it, to bring us back to dreaming. And I really feel like it's the I don't think it's much of a job, but if it was a possibility, that's the job I wish I had. I wish so much that I could do mudlarking and it would be a job. I've always been super fascinated by like fossils and ruins and remnants and all of that, but always been told that like it's not a field where you can find a job and make a living, you know, that good old thing. Thanks capitalism, by the way. But yeah, oh my gosh, when I discovered like the England mudlarking stuff, first of all, my mind was completely blown, and then I kept having dreams about it, like nonstop, dreams and dreams and dreams about mudlarking. And oh, how I wish I could spend my days on the stinky Thames shore and just find stuff. It's the most brain tickly thing ever. Metal detecting I also really like. I used to watch the people that do a lot of underwater metal detecting, like in either in tourist areas or whatnot. And I don't remember the channel's name, but the guy's name is Dallas, I think. And he's super, unless something happened that I'm not aware of, but he's super wholesome. And whenever I would find a phone, he would try to get it back to its owner, or jewelry, or try to help people who lost stuff or whatnot. And yeah, there's really something about that. Um, Speaking of metal detecting, I really like the a British series Detectoring. The no wait, it's the Detectorists, and it was super lighthearted and a lot of fun. Really like that. But yeah, both of these things I feel are really like brain tickly. They tickle my brain very much. Sandblasting is also very satisfying, especially when they are super methodical about it, like one side to the next, then down, one side to the next, and you're just like, I am hypnotized. How do you make this work? It used to be all messed up and rusty, and now it's pristine. I kind of freak out when I get dirty, so not sure if that would work for me, but I totally resonate with wanting to spend your days doing something that puts you in your happy place. I mean, if I was mudlarking, and I know the Thames is gross, okay? I know it's ugh, but I would like my brain I think would find a way to make it work. Like there would be the space in my home where the dirty stuff goes, and I would have dedicated like garments for that and dedicated everything for that so that the dirty is controlled and all like managed in one area, and then the rest has the clean, if you know what I mean. And you can do it with gloves and also so. But yeah, oh my gosh, just the people who post this stuff, like they post photos of like it's just like the beach, quote unquote, and I just want to stare. I wish I had like a super high res version of the photo so I could zoom in and look at everything. It's just fascinating stuff. Right, and the span of history that they find stuff from is wild. Roman pottery, sure, paleo. Yeah, dude. The the themes. That's another thing. I'm with you. That's another thing about it that is blows my mind about it. Is that like at some point I saw a video where they would be like, "Oh, the water is low, the tide is low, so we're gonna go to that specific area where there's often a lot more of Roman ruins." And as a Canadian in a country that's basically a baby compared to the rest of the world, the the idea that you can go somewhere and find remnants of pottery from ancient Rome is just mind blowing. It blows my brain like out of there. And then you walk back and you can find like pins that people used to keep their clothing on before like buttons and zipper were really a thing. And then you can find Lego octopi from when a shipping boat full of Lego dropped its cargo. Like, what? They find ordnance from the wars that they need to call like the police about. Like, it's just everything is on those stinky, dirty beaches. That's unfathomable. Absolutely unfathomable to my Canadian brain. I am also grossed out. People who mudlark without. Oh, dude, without gloves, nah, dude, nah. Seriously, just oh, hold on, hold up. I'm not gonna list it, but the mudlarkers sometimes they mention what they find aside the cool stuff. Like they mention the gross stuff too, and I'm like, oh, I would have like the boots with the metal like tip and the big gloves and a whole like first aid kit with disinfectant and everything and masks and always my hair like not in my face because you never know. Like the contingency level would be through the roof, but it would be worth it because it would mean being able to walk the Thames and find insane stuff lost in the sands of it. Like it's just we don't have that here. We don't like Canada is and it doesn't shut every year. Just one? Absolutely. Dude. But it's just like so surreal. Like I look at that's one of the things that bums me out about being in Canada is that I look around and everything is meaningless. Nothing has a story really. Or if it has, it's such a story on a short scale that I cannot get the feel for it. Like if I look at a home, the people who live in there, they have their story, but if I look at the building, it's meaningless. Whereas so many places on the European continent and Asia and all of that, like you get to these locales that have so much stuff to them. Like you can just feel it. You look at them and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what happened. I don't know how old this thing is, but I get this feeling like, and I don't get that here because it's just so young. But it's I know Quebec City celebrated its 400th anniversary in 2008, and Montreal I think is a bit younger than that, which is basically nothing. Yeah, but I mean I have to end the stream too. Like we're on time, and besides I have to go soak this up and wash the other stuff that I cannot wash here. So timing is good. But yeah, uh, seriously, like it's just dang mudlarking. When I saw it existed, I had the worst case of like I missed out on my life schooling ever. But yeah, it's not something that could really happen here. There wouldn't be anything to find on the shores except rocks and you know fish. Or if there's a skin breaking incident, oh dude. Are we planning an artist mudlarking trip? I wish, but it's actually you cannot just go to the shore and mudlark. You're gonna to have a permit for it, which is a bit of a bummer in a way. But I can see why. Also, if you find something particularly historically relevant, you cannot just keep it. You're gonna have to give it to a museum or something. But yeah. Um well, thank you so much guys for being here today. I've been yapping so much. Thank you for indulging me the yapping, and thank you so much for being with me as I looked at this awesome set. I will finish cleaning it up, and I will probably feature it in its cleaned up form at some point. But yeah, for now, it still needs a bit of a PLC, and I need to figure out what to do about the broken hinge. And Yep. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I should be streaming on Saturday, same time. And it will be more Aquafine's budget. Have a good rest of your day, guys. Thanks again, and hopefully see you in the next one. And yep. Bye-bye. Take cake. Take cake. My butt.